Okay, yeah, so it's being recorded. Started that.
So now afterwards, I can hear myself how bad I am to English.
Oh,
but it's okay.
Din engelska Belgia min dansk med dansk, så. Dansk är svært. I'm working at it very hard every day, so it's getting better.
It's okay.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, and
so,
I can see the OpenStreetMap and the guidelines.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me start with this. So normally I would bring in a scam-kort for data forsyning. Do you use this data forsyning plugin?
Yes, and also data for data.
Yes.
I can see you have it too. Yeah.
Data forsyning is like I said, is down for some reason today. I guess let's see how this is working. So let me show you where I pulled in the other base map as another option. There's a plugin called Quick Map Services. So you can install plugins from this. Let me slow down.
Yeah.
From the plugins menu.
Yes.
And this one called Quick Map Services has a lot of base maps in it. So if for some reason data forsyning or data for Dila aren't working, this is another option. Quick Map Services. And where you find Quick Map Services is from the web menu. After you install a plugin, sometimes it's tricky to find out where it is.
Yeah.
This one is here. And the first time you install it, there's a setting that's helpful. If you go down to Settings and to this More Services tab, you click this button, Get Contributed Pack, and this will add more scam-kort to Lista. So go back to Quick Map Services, and I can see that I have Google base maps, even Esri base maps, and what I'm using is the OpenStreetMap standard.
Yeah.
And and then I have the Brandhena, and I know that they can be you need to know the distance along Vimida and trails based on the placering, either 75 or 150 meters. So one thing I did when I just started exploring your data, there's a handy little panel called Layer Styling. Stilots, put it in, yeah. So if you click this, it opens up this layer styling panel to the right, and you can use this to quickly symbolize your layers. So for this, instead of showing a single symbol, I chose categorized and chose the placering ID field.
Exactly.
Click classify, and now I can see which are which can help to make sure the results are correct. And then of course you can, skift Fawa. You can
and make another symbolic.
Yeah, proceeds. So And I have, let me see, another QGIS project with the Vimida. Let me just copy that. So I just added a Vimida layer from Geodeco that I had locally. And so what I did was I had the Vimida for all of Denmark, which is quite large. So what I did was use this tool for selecting features.
Yeah, where did you get that information about the Y meter from?
It's from Geodeco. And one of my colleagues, we have an export of all of that data. It's the same data that you would get from data Fasooning.
Okay.
But we had a local extract of it at Septima.
Yeah.
And so that's where I got that. And normally I would just go to data Fasooning.
So when the data fusioning is on again, I can take it from there and then make a local copy of the area I want to work with.
Precise. So to do that, I just if we can pretend this is the one from data Fasooning,
Yeah.
I use the select features tool to select all the Vimida around the Brandhane. And then once they're selected, right click, export, save selected features as.
Yes.
And I saved that out to a Geo package. And are you familiar with that format?
Yeah. Almost. I'm working with shape files.
Okay. So the Geo package, so shapefiles at GAML. It's an old format. And so it
Yeah.
has there's some Ulempa, some disadvantages with shapefiles that they the field names, for example, if we look at the attributes of Brandhane, some of these are cut off and have an underscore.
Yeah.
And that's because a shapefile can only have field names that are 10 characters or less. So
Yeah.
if a field name comes from a database and it has a longer field name, QGIS, or it'll just get cut because you're saving it as a shapefile. And so that's one reason people are starting to switch to Geo package format, because you can have really long field names. It won't cut them off.
Okay.
So
That
there's
makes
some
sense.
there's some advantages to it.
Yeah.
It's just a more modern format. But I'm still working. This is still the original. No, I did. I think I pulled this into a Geo package. It's kind of just my habit. I took your shapefile and brought it into a Geo package.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did the same thing. I just right clicked on it,
Yeah.
export,
Exactly.
save as
Exactly.
Geo package. So got the Vimida and the Brandhane, and so I'm going to go through a couple options with you here. One is there's a buffer tool, and buffer, have you used that before?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's a common tool in QGIS, and so it's in this vector menu. Go to vector geoprocessing tools and find it, the first option here, buffer. And what this does is it would allow you to identify, basically create a circle around each point that is 75 or 150 meters. And so there's a couple of ways we can use this tool to, again, we can use it to check the results at the end and just kind of get an idea of how far 75 and 150 meters is. So this tool lets you specify the distance that you want the buffer to be created from the point. This segments option just, like if you're going to save it out as like a shape file or a geo package, it can't have true curves, like a mathematically correct curve. So the number of segments, if you increase that value, just makes the curve smoother. The default of 5 is fine, but some people might put in a 20 there just to make a smoother circle. And then you can just, if you're just doing this quickly, you can just use this option to create a temporary layer, and it would disappear once you close QGIS. But if you just wanted to quickly see what 75 or 150 meters looked like, you could run the tool and just create a temporary layer. So for example, if I put in 150 meters and click run, I'll get a series of 150 meter circles around each. Another option with the tool is to dissolve the result. And if I do that, it will, where all the circles overlap, merge them into one feature. Like that. That's another option. And then what I did, there's these things in QGIS called data defined overrides. So anytime you see this little icon here, it is where you can use an attribute field from your data instead of hard-coded distance. So what we could do here is tell QGIS to use the placering value so that it will buffer each point based on the value in that placering field, either 75 or 150. And so if I run it like this, we'll get circles, buffers around each one, depending on whether it is 75 or 150 meters from it. So I started with that just to kind of get a sense for how far the distance was. And then there's a tool, there's another plugin called QNeat, which is allows you to, oh no, actually I didn't end up using that. I didn't have to install another plugin. I went to the processing toolbox. So this is where all of your processing tools are. You know, some of the common ones are found here, you know, at the vector menu, like buffer. And there's a raster menu too for raster processing tools. But you can click this button here, this little gearbox, GeoCasa button, to open up the processing toolbox. And the kind of analysis you're wanting to do is a network analysis, because you're wanting to know how far along the VIMITA, you know, 75 meters along a VIMITA or 75 meters along, you know, along that, and not just a straight line distance like these buffers are.
Exactly.
So in this network analysis section, there's a tool here called service area from layer. And this algorithm creates a new vector with all the edges or parts of edges of a network line layer that can be reached within a distance or a time starting from a point layer. So we're going to choose the distance from each point layer along VIMITA that we want to identify. So this tool is really the one that's going to give you what you need. So the vector layer representing the network, that's going to be the VIMITA. We want the shortest path and the Brandhena is the vector layer with the start points. With this, let me just run it for the first time. I'll put in 150 here for 150 meters. And let's see what else. We don't really need any of these advanced parameters. So we can just save the output, and I'll just create a temporary layer. If you're going to create a permanent layer as a result, you simply go here and either save to file, and you could save it out to a shape file or save it out to a geo package, either way. But just for this demo, I'll just create temporary layers and click run. And let me make these service area lines a little bit brighter so we can see them. So those are now going to be the VIMITA that are 150 meters from each point. So probably some are 150 and some are 75, and there isn't an option in here to choose there isn't that data defined override for this to choose the placering. So to get the final solution, I think what we would do is take the Brandhena, and we create one copy of it that's the Brandhena that have a 75 meter distance, and one that's the Brandhena with a 150 meter distance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can do this simply by right clicking on this layer and choose duplicate. And we can call this one Brandhena 75 and call this one Brandhena 150. And just go back to a single symbol for these. And now to really make this just equal to 150 Brandhena, I'm going to go into the properties of this layer. So I'm going to right click on the layer and go to properties. And in layer properties, there's all these tabs, but we're just going to focus on the source tab, the second one. And there's this section provider feature filter. And this allows you to enter an SQL expression to filter the layer. And so we'll do placering equals 150. So I'll click Query Builder, and it brings up a form that has all of your attributes here. So we can find placering and double click on it, and it will put it down here in our expression. And then click the equals operator. Then we can, since we have placering highlighted here, over here we can go and click sample and get us the values that are in that field, and we can just click 150. And there is a specific way the fields and the values have to be entered. You can see the field has double quotes,
Yeah,
and this has single quotes. And so if you just kind of click your way through this, you can avoid making mistakes or getting the syntax incorrect. So click OK and OK. And now this will just equal the Brandhena equal to 150. And it ends up with this little filter icon and shows us what the filter is for this layer. And then we can just do the same for Brandhena 75. And so now we have one layer for each. And another thing you can do in QGIS is you can right click on a layer and show feature count. So you can see there's 89 points with that distance, and oh, that shouldn't be. That's why I do it, to make sure that it did it correctly, and that's strange. Are there really 89 in each? Yep, all 150. Wow, that's weird. There's exactly 89 in each. Maybe it's an odd coincidence. Okay, so we have our two layers. So now we can bring this, or just rerun this service area from layer. And what we can do is, instead of running it on all the Brandhena, we can run it on just the Brandhena 75. And we could save this out to a shape file. And click run. Oh, and I have to change this to the travel cost has to be correct, obviously. And click run. And now we can rerun it on the Brandhena 150 and just change the travel cost and save this out as Brandhena 150 Vimida. Click run. And now we should have the final answer. We should be able to just turn on the ones that are 75 and make them a thicker line, and the 150, make that a thicker line so we can see it. And so now we can see that these are the ones that have a 150 distance, and you can see it's a longer line down the Vimida from those, and then these are the 75s, and it's a shorter distance. But we have now we've identified the amount of each. And you can turn on the buffers to kind of see that it kind of gives an indication that the answer is represents reality. So I think that's the basic workflow that you can use to identify that in QGIS. And so it really ends up being that one tool that you have to run, this service area from layer tool. Does that look like the kind of result you were hoping to get?
Yeah, exactly. It is. Okay. But I need to figure out what kind of data I have in layer Vimida. If it's only the road, or it's what can you call it on English?
Oh, like Stier. Yeah, Superstein. Yes, so then it would just be a matter of, if you had the extra data for Stine, Sukelstein, and the other trails, you would basically just need to merge that with the VMITA.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a tool, another tool from the vector menu under data management tools called merge vector layers.
I have working with that tool, so
Okay, good.
Yeah, I
So
have tried it before.
So you could create a master line layer from those to run the service area from layer tool against.
Exactly. Yeah, but this is it.
Okay.
It's what we want to. It's the kind of analysis we want to make in this project we are working on. So
Perfect.
it's exactly what I want.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Interesting.
Easy.
I think I can do it. Yeah. I need to wait until the data provisioning is on again to make this layer estimated, so I can make the analysis. And I think I'm making a copy, so I have it local on my computer. Of that area where I want to make my analysis. Yeah.
Also, because if you have like VMITA for all of Denmark, it will take a long time for that tool to run.
Yeah, exactly. And it would make my project very heavy to work on. Yeah.
Precis.
So this is
okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions or?
I don't think right now. I'm thinking I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
When I can.
Yeah. Feel free once you try it to reach out with any questions you have.
Thank you.
Yeah, because this was quick. So.
Yeah. But it was. I think it's easy when I know how to do it. But sitting on my computer and figure it out by myself, it was how do I do that? So with some bullet points and when you show me some nice features, I think I can do it now.
Great. Well, I'll send you the recording, so you'll have the recording.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. And yeah.
Yes.
En god dag.
Tak i lige måde, og tak for det her.
Ja. Hej.
Hej.